With the rate things are going, talking about employment and unemployment in Nigeria, where we have our teeming youths after graduation still wandering around looking for a soft landing, where and how it should be in Nigeria. With reports of recent, we have it that National Directorate of Employment are not employing. And looking through pages of newspapers without seeing any advertising, any vacant position in any of the sectors, be it health, talk about agriculture, talk about finances and everything. Now, of recent, we had a particular issue or incident where over 3 million people scrambled just for a particular position in Nigerian Immigration Service. Now, what's the way forward? Who's to be blamed? The president came up of recent and said Nigeria youths are lazy. Is it that they don't want to work, or is it that the government are not actually providing job opportunities? Our housemates today will take us to different dimensions on this. It's going to be an argumentative session where some, based on what the president said, will say yes, our youths are lazy, they're not employable. And the other ones will come up and also argue this out, that the youths are not lazy, but the government are not just providing the employment opportunities for our people as well. So let's watch the housemates do this today. Don't go away.
President's reality show.
We'll have the housemates together. And you might be surprised, why is it happening this way? Yes, eviction, either voluntarily or by proxy, but all the same, these are the people we have for now. Now, at the beginning of the week, we had in groups. As it stands now, the group A and the group B, though some people had already gone. And that's why you see groups in smaller numbers, not just as large as it was before, but we're still going to do the needful as well, because we already had these arrangements for the week and we can't alter anything now. Today, we have a youth roaming the streets, going through universities, having the best of education, then still coming back. What's the hope? For the past 6 to 7 years, the government or the federal or state haven't advertised anything like employment opportunity. But yet, we keep graduating and sending out. NYSC will be passing them out every 3 to 4 months. Over 35,000 leaving. Statistics shows that over 33,000 people every month leaves universities or higher institutions, but where is the work? Okay, that one aside from the government. Now, from this other side, the president of recent made this suggestion that our youth are lazy. We don't know exactly if he actually said yes or true or not, but it's left for the housemate of this particular season or maiden edition of the President's Reality TV show to let us know what to feel about these two issues. Is it from the youths? Is it from the unemployed, or is it from government? Where is the work? They're done with school, or are they not really employable? Let's have the housemate do that today. And we have them in groups as well. Members of Group A, can you just indicate? Right, Odinaka, Faith, and Jefferson for Group A. And you are on which side?
For the youth.
Yeah, for the youths. You're speaking for the youths. Yes. Wow, that's great. Okay. And then we have from Group B, Daniel Damaris Obalokom Edidion and Matthew. Matthew, you are somewhere there. You're supposed to be here with this other thing. Because okay. All right. It's okay. Okay, now these other ones, I guess you are for the government aspect of that. Youths are lazy, that they don't ready to work anywhere. All right. We're gonna have this argument now. Now let's start. I'm going to throw this open now. What could be, or what do we consider to be the reason why there is no employment in Nigeria? Okay.
First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity, sir. One of the reasons why we complain a lot as youth is because we are choosy of words. Like some of us, we are only waiting for the white collar job.
Okay, white collar jobs.
Yes,
Okay.
and also we have a lot of incompetent youth. Now, what do I mean by that? Some of us, we are graduates, but we are not really graduates. We don't, now if you ask some of us, they cannot even tell you, they can't stand and defend their course of studies. So how do you expect that as you graduated as an accountant, but you don't know how to calculate and you expect the work to come? It's not possible. And then I have an example in my state of recent. My governor had to replace 21,780 teachers with 25,000 teachers. Reason be because some of them are incompetent. He has to conduct an incompetent test, and he now realized that a lot of them doesn't even know what they are doing.
Okay.
Yes, so this is one of the reasons why
We don't
there are
have
no
jobs in Nigeria.
Yes.
Right. You've heard from Damaris. Damaris says that it could be the reason that incompetency is really playing a very vital role on this. Let me go back to this other side now. Damaris just made a point now that majority of the persons who are looking for job are not competent enough to fit into those opportunities. Group A, can you defend that particular thing based on your own fact?
Okay, thank you very much. So it's basically like she's saying that a child who the mother gave birth to suddenly wakes up one morning and does not know the mother or cannot even describe the features of the mother. So a child who has gone through the educational system of Nigeria should be able to have solutions regarding the aspect of study he or she studied. So for example, she mentioned someone who studied accounting or someone who studied accounting,
Yes.
and the person comes and doesn't even know the ropes of accounting. Who do we put this blame on? Is it the government? Is it the youth? Is it the educational system and how the person was trained? Because just like we have, yes, I'm coming. Just like we have in computer, garbage in, garbage out. So what you put in is what you have. So we will blame that on our educational system. And if you see, our educational system does not have practicals for people to be able to begin practicing even while in school, so that when they are out of school, they are competent enough to pick jobs. And we can also trace it to the fact that there are people who have been working in government since 1960 and they are still in government till now. They've not retired. So those people do not allow young people to have employment. So it's not basically because they are incompetent. And you can also see that Nigerians who travel outside the country do better, far better. Why? Didn't they still pass through the same educational system? They did. But over there, they are enabled.
Are you trying to tell us that you're one of such persons who will have an opportunity tomorrow to leave this country to go, practice something outside here? Will you do that? Will you opt?
No, just like I stated before already in a video that we made, I said that the only reason I can go out of the country will be for educational purpose or for business purpose. That I can't totally relocate out of Nigeria to live outside.
Okay, now you just mentioned that our youths do better outside down where we are now. Now you as a youth, don't you think you also want to follow the trend?
I'm already doing better. I celebrate them for the achievements they've had. I believe in personal development.
If you get the opportunity now, won't you join them?
Just for educational purpose, I'll return back to Nigeria.
Okay, away from educational purpose, nothing else.
No.
All right, now
I think I have a response.
okay, now.
Today we've been blessed with an age where we have information and technology put together, which is the internet. We have lots of opportunities to gain from just going online. People don't really need to leave this country to get education from outside the country. We have people talk about online courses, talking to your lecturer from abroad without even going to see the lecturer. So if you say it's a problem of the government, I think you're lying, because we have technology, we have facilities, we have things that
That's what's the context of the line.
Yeah,
Let's calm down. Let's take a look at this, okay?
to get education to be better. Now, you want to tell me that you as a person, are you bad as a person?
Good.
Do you think you're doing bad?
What's the definition of bad, sir?
Do you think you're doing poorly
No.
academically? So why are you saying now that it is the government who do you think the government has poured you to do?
So I mentioned three things.
Okay.
I mentioned an enabling environment.
Okay.
2, government having a proper system to remove people who have already overworked
Okay.
their services to retire so that new people can come in. And 3, the educational system that we have.
So you cannot system.
What I would say is that I know that the youths are laid back because we have a lot of people into cybercrime today.
Yes.
Are you saying that you're into cybercrime?
No, are you
it's
doing
not.
cybercrime too? Are you doing cybercrime?
Okay, hold on. Okay, now let's take a look at this now. You just raised the points now. You talk about that government shouldn't be blamed, that they've created opportunities where the youth can always, make or have access to the internet. And if I don't agree that tariff based on bundles, data bundles have been increased of recent. And government even suggested, making, other colleagues like increasing the tax, and that people should be even taxed based on whatever based on the bundles of this thing that you get. Are you aware of such?
I am quite aware.
Why are you saying that government have provided all these amenities, facilities for the youths to kill?
I think it has not been easy for anybody, even outside the country. Sometimes we try to blame our government. We try to blame our.
How much you subscribe your data on a weekly?
Weekly, I think it should be up to about 1,500.
1,500 naira, and that means you don't solve the need as maybe as a fruit, just like.
Allow me to drive my point now.
Okay.
Now we try to paint Nigeria bad.
Okay.
But if you travel outside the country, go to other countries.
Let's talk about the unemployment you're talking about. Not to paint the picture bad. You're not trying to see how can be orientation. Let's take a look at the unemployment and employment rate now.
I'm sorry, sir.
Okay.
I cannot give you food and you expect me to teach you how to eat the food.
Okay.
You have your own responsibility too.
Okay.
There is not only the government.
Can
All right.
I speak based on the statistics you gave?
Okay. Please wait. Let's hear from Jefferson.
Based on the statistics she gave,
Yes.
she said some of the teachers were
Replaced.
Replaced
right?
based on incompetency.
Based on incompetency.
Yeah.
Now, who are the teachers first? Who employed the teachers? Didn't they know in the first place that these teachers were not good? Who trained the teachers? Were there not programs? There are supposed to be programs. Government are supposed to do programs that will train those teachers so that they can be competent, isn't it? But they didn't do it. Now, check the curriculums and syllabus we have. It's backdated, 2010. And then you expect us to train children who will come and have today they are not employable, because when they go to any organization they are not fit to be employed. You get? I think I'll differ with what you just said.
All right. I'll come say something.
Thank you very much, sir. I would say the government have done a lot for us
Yes.
as youths, and we should not always blame it to the government. Every time there are Nigerians youths are always clamoring. The book of lamentation wasn't written for the Nigerian youths. Thank you very much. And one thing is very certain here: the government have created an enabling environment for us to thrive as youths. You have entrepreneurship, including the curriculum,
Yes.
schools. You see that?
Schools.
So now you have a system where the school offers you an opportunity to learn skills while you are still a student. The practical aspect of it is there. And also, we have the NYSC scheme, which is also a job employment opportunity for Nigerians. You get paid, you do internship.
Can we just mention entrepreneurship? Now let's take a look at now. It's a science-related issue now. How do we blend entrepreneurial skills with science and engineering?
Okay.
And in an advanced level, because the entrepreneurial you're talking about now could be maybe learn how to highest they do is that come up with skill acquisition, how to do makeup, how to tie gele, how to do puff, how to do paint. What happens to this advanced aspect of it? Do we really have the government provide such opportunity that people can be affected in diaspora? They're having a better collective education compared to Nigeria here now. talk about this. Have government been able to, equip our science laboratories in federal schools and also provide the lecturers to give these people adequate lecture or ideas that they need to man the face of this? As it stands now, ICT-wise, don't you think that there is a gap between the government and this?
Okay, thank you very much.
Away from the entrepreneurship aspect of it, where by just like go and learn how to do scaffolding, or with so many people currently, even in our local area here, but they acquire the skill of scaffolding without the opportunities to, to discharge the services. Where?
Okay, reacting to that, sir, I'll first say, everything that has happened so far is as a result of something. If you look at other universities, their laboratories have been effectively equipped, and it's not every university that we have been able to touch so far as governments, but we are coming down to that side also. And we're talking about shifting it to the science side. You have electricity where they offer entrepreneurship also. You also have people who are, they even do it in my school too, computer science. Computer is also part of the mechanical engineering, also part of the entrepreneurship. So, sir, it's not necessarily about the government. These youths, when you send them to that place, are you doing the right thing? Sir, they leave the school, and there was a very worrisome situation where I got to find out something about a post on LinkedIn from one social entrepreneur platform. She said 1/10 of the job Nigerians are even looking for does not exist at the moment, and that's as a result of the fact that the world is diversifying. And so if we don't diversify to meet up with it, it would lead to a social misfit. You have a system where student comes out from school. In an emerging economy like Nigeria, where you have innovations coming up and technological advancements, you have a situation whereby a student leaves school and does not even know what to do after leaving school. And so you've got to come from a point of what did you study in school to what do you know how to do.
Okay, hold on now. Otidaka, you've heard Ocon try to defend the government on this particular issue. Otidaka, what's your very, very salient point on this?
Thank you so much, very much. The Lagos State Chairman of ASU, in an interview last year, made mention that the government have not really invested in entrepreneurship in different aspects in universities. And he said that this is the duty of the government to invest in all sectors of the university. And you should also bring in studies that will help augment some of these other courses that we do. And you've mentioned the science department. It is also pertinent on the government to start from the cradle, because that is where it all starts. An American child at the age of 3 will be able to know most of these things, the atoms, the neutrons, the protons, everything about science. But what happens to our own Nigeria? Because they don't believe, they think that it is abstract. It should start it should be included in the educational curriculum of the nursery school to the primary school. These students don't even need to get to the university level before maybe applying for such course. They should start from the nursery, then the secondary. If our government are really interested in science and tech, how many science and tech innovation
schools do we have?
Okay, schools do we have?
Okay, don't you also think, as it stands now, maybe the government have leverage on this and they allow things to go the way it was. Now, don't think that based on what they also argued, that the earlier you get them introduced or opened to this access, the easier you get yourself involved, because as it stands now, they just made mention of cybercrime. Now, we talk about the expository aspect of it, where a child at 3 should be exposed to science. Talk about this and that and that. Now, I think that at the age of 10, giving your child an Android phone and also letting this particular young person know these are the things that you should do, that they always want to do the other one based on technology.
Okay, sir. Moral values.
Okay.
Nigeria has a very big moral value. So for that, we count it out.
We talk about moral values now. Does that have anything to do with the internet? Because definitely,
Yes, because
internet is between you and your device.
yes, it is.
And nobody, your concept. Okay, now nobody is there to watch you and monitor you.
Okay, so sir, quickly to let me quickly to speak on that. We've had, okay, let's set examples. People who have brought great innovation. Most of them, especially we could see the likes of Mark Zuckerberg and others, they didn't even get to complete university. So where did they begin their foundations from? Just like she said, they began from their primary school. So you see, there is something about giving someone information, and there is something about also letting the person know the repercussion of this information you are giving. If we are only focusing on the negative side, it means we will not grow. Because even as adults, yes, even as we still have the things we want to do and the things we should do. So if you let the child understand from the cradle and teach him.
Okay, now, Odinaka, are we deprived? Are the youths of Nigeria deprived of this opportunity to excel?
Yes, definitely.
Now, how?
Just like Kala would always say that the government policies does not favor most of this technological aspect of maybe employment.
Okay, now let's take a look at your own aspect now. Are there the things you suppose or you feel you would have done as a young and vibrant emerging leader that you've been deprived of by the government because of policies?
Yeah, first of all, I should be in school by now. It's just today is 14th, called of ASU strike. For a complete 8 months, what have I been doing?
Okay.
Where should they
But you say something about entrepreneurial skills acquisition or whatever. So is that an opportunity for you to like? Okay.
What of the capital? What of the grant?
Sir, statistically, let me tell you the truth. NMPC, CBN has a department, a parastatal under them that are supposed to give grants to these youths. But it's been siphoned, it's been
corruption.
used.
All right, let's get back to if you have not said anything on this.
Let me say this now.
Okay, okay.
I think you complaining and blaming the government.
Okay.
Doing all the blame games and all that. But do you know that?
No, we're not
these
blaming
people,
we're
not blaming the government. We are expressing
providing solution.
This is their grievances.
Yes.
This is what you are going through.
Provide solutions.
Okay.
do you know that these people you blame were once people like you?
Exactly.
Who also complain?
Who are the government? Who are
the government?
So if you keep saying they are bad, they are doing wrong, they are not doing right, you are saying we also are not doing right.
Yes,
No,
sir,
no,
you are
no,
right.
you-
But we are followers more than being governors.
All right, let's pause now. Matthew, so unfortunate you are on this other side, which is supposed to. So now, I guess you're going to talk from this other side.
Yeah.
Your body is here, but your mind is here.
Very well.
All right, talk.
Thank you, sir. It's quite unfortunate that I'm not with my people, so the viewers might think I'm with you guys.
Okay, come and stand here so that you talk with your people.
I'm very okay with where I'm at. All right, sir. Let me bring you the youth. Let me open your eyes on what you guys have not known.
Yes, sir.
All right. You personally talked about education sector.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was this point you made that you guys as students, okay, call it youth, have not been given the enable environment. You still added to it that of ASO strike, you have been at home for 8 months.
now.
Thank you.
We talk about entrepreneurship.
Thank you.
You as a youth, can you be bold to tell someone this is what I've been able to achieve as a creative Nigerian youth within these 8 months?
All right.
This question is for her.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Okay, but what are the
That's not answer.
Yes, I have that. But how have I been able to utilize this thing in a way that it brings profits to me?
Beautiful. Continue.
You've not answered my question. What have you like achieved with this entrepreneurship? 8 months. You've been at home. Okay, fine. You always leverage blame to the government because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. It's not just school. It's not just you coming out from school with first class. Even before you achieve that first class, you as an indigene, a youth, you should have something creative doing. We've been into problems for 8 months. Fine. We've settled it. Today 14, we've called off the strike. Which you will go back to school. Which you will go back to school.
Matthew, you just made some this thing a comment now based on what she's been able to do to make profit.
Yes.
Now, you in government, how do you patronize the locals? Won't you see her based on what she produces to be very local, that's below your standard?
No, sir. Before I answer that question,
Don't you think that that's another area that's really affecting the local content where our teeming youths have been able to put themselves as a matter of frustration either from government or from the associate as well? Don't you think that that's just also another area that people do feel they shouldn't just get into entrepreneurship programs?
I have a very strong answer to your question, sir.
Okay.
But it will still fall back to her. With this fact, Nigeria, as we are the government. We've been able to produce or provide the youth with so many empowerment schemes.
For example?
He did mention of youth service. That one should be when you are done with school.
That when you're serving the country, not your own Nigeria, you're serving the country.
Yes, we've talked about empower.
Empower.
We've talked
of which
about
some batches are still home up to now. Nothing has happened.
We've talked about empowerment program scheme.
Okay.
There are so many. They are up to 25.
Okay.
What have you produced before?
All right. Let
him finish.
I'm coming. Finish, sir.
There are programs that is available for a youth like you, which what I know very well is that.
List them.
All right, I'm coming. I've mentioned it is already 25 on ground.
25.
Yes.
Apart from Empower.
Apart from Empower.
AYAC. Which one is that? They are serving the government.
To her as a young youth that is complaining of being at home.
Okay.
What do you use your phone for apart from chatting and making calls?
What happens to those in rural areas that don't have access to phones?
I will still go back to that.
Okay.
I will go back to that because she is now where urban area is. She have youth, she have siblings that are at home.
No, I think let that be a point. I'm waiting from the where the government do not employ.
No. Is it one house now? Is it her duty to carry information from government to the rural people?
There is radio.
Information
This
is
information has been circulating all through. I've been hearing these jingles in radio.
For example.
Sir, this Empower, when Empower came, I was still in university.
Okay.
The first batch of Empower.
Okay.
I was still in university, and it was during holidays. I was at home and I had the jingle, and I have to call my friends and ask. We mobilize, we register for Empower, and life goes on. Now,
let's
calm down.
Sir, I also my experience in Empower.
Yes.
I applied for it.
Okay.
But since I was 18. Oh, it's not the government.
Now, why did you apply when you were not up to 18?
I was
when you were not up to 18.
Organization 15 to 64 years are youth and they are employable people.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
Okay.
in Nigeria.
All right, one house.
Sir, we are talking about rural. And then you're saying that the news has gotten to the rural people through radio. It hasn't. There is a village in Abuja, close to the city gate, Ruga village. They've never had anything. I can give you statistic of what, because we went there, recorded them on personal training.
Okay.
Not
This
even for the
Sir, I think my problem. When you are saying, I think my problem.
Now, all right.
What are we talking about?
Okay, now.
I think my problem with you is the fact that you say these things, okay? You say these things, but you are too laid back, waiting for the government. How many times have you sold to the government?
Did you hear what I
The
said?
people who would want to buy what you are producing
and
not the government. Stop focusing on the government to sell what you have. Look for the people around you.
To buy.
Okay?
Did you hear what I said?
All right.
What they are making
Let's not struggle on this. One house. Yes, it's still the argument on employment and unemployment, and that's why you have this twist. Because definitely a lot of people, after 10 years of the discharge with NYSC, I don't think they've done anything with that. Now we have the housemate they just mentioned, entrepreneurship. As some said, no, it's just about the educational sector of Nigeria, which is not really doing the needful, of which you also have a say on this particular issue. Now let's get back to these. We have those opposing the government and those in support of the government. Look at the programs. The mention of NYSC, of which really talk about that. That's just serving the government with the stipends that comes every month called Alawi. Okay, let's take a look at this now. Unemployment and employment. Let's look at the private sector. The private sector, with reference to the point I raised. How many Nigerians will always love to patronize the locals? Of recent, we had a discussion right here when we brought in tourism. We did a lot about, jokingly, but it was a very big message about purchasing or patronizing the made in Nigeria products. How far have we on this? Now, can someone from the private sector boldly say, yes, I'm proud. This is what I've been able to achieve. Away from oil and gas sector, away from the financial sector, away from the government parastatals. Can we boast of a particular private sector who will be able to cough out up to ₦1 million to pay an individual graduate of Nigeria based on services rendered all level?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Like a minimum wage, that is what you collect every month.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I think this is the first time I'm talking officially. Okay, let's go to the private sector. At first, from the first question you asked, if I go to buy something in maybe a top store supermarket, I use my eyes. Made in Nigeria, nothing more, nothing less. Unless such product equivalent is not here, I can pick any for all these Chinese imported products and all that. That one is separate.
What are Nigeria known for in terms of productivity?
What Nigeria is known for?
Yes.
Sir, at least.
Because as it stands now, we have this notion that anything herbal should come from the north. If you buy anything herbal from the north, it will be very effective in terms of all the West as well. They say, or if you see what Yoruba man sell or Yoruba woman sell, you say, take this one, you check it out. That's the only thing. As like, what?
Okay, sir, but if
we talk about made in Nigeria.
If we start mentioning made in Nigeria products now,
okay.
You're
quite dumb now. You say oral crayfish is the best.
We make
that one is a natural. That was a natural.
Okay, now which one?
Okay, sir. If I look at the shoes we wear,
look at it
first. Like I can bet you, sir, that 90% of shoes we wear in this place are made in Nigeria.
Yes.
Because it's affordable.
And we are patronizing it.
And
It's affordable and we wear it. I'm coming to privatization now. It's made in Nigeria first for me before any other contest.
Okay. All right.
Now, and we have so many advantages in privatization. Number one, there will be incentives from these private bodies that are coming, and it's a benefit to the government. This one I'm talking in general. Now, it will reduce the resources that is expected from government.
Yeah.
It will bring employment also. Okay, now look at the telecommunication. Telecommunication was privatized since. Now look at how and telecommunication from research. I don't know if there's anything that has. But
apart from telecommunications, so what else have been privatized by the federal government?
Electricity has
That's
been
right.
privatized.
To who? Are those benefits? Nigerians happy about that privatization?
So there is more advantage in electricity. Let's just leave the tariff increase and all that in telecommunication now. Let's just leave that one. But electricity, at least there is a little bit leverage.
Where we don't have a control over what people pay.
So that's okay. If you want to say the truth, what people pay now as electricity bills. From where?
Oh, okay.
Let me talk about where.
All right, let's leave that one for another day. Let's talk about the employment aspect of it now. Privatization, the private sector.
Okay, privatization. Okay, now I still have to bring a brand here because the last time I make reference to Innocent Innocent Motors.
Yes.
Now, and I said something very particular that boils back to patronizing what is made in Nigeria.
Yeah.
That's something that if I buy innocent vehicle now, I drive, and I want to go to the right, and the tire is taking me to the left. At first, I'll come to media, I'll drag them first. I will draw their attention to them. It is the notion is now on them to either correct the defects and promote their business, or they forget about correcting it.
Okay, as government now, as doing support of government now, apart from Anambra State, Governor Chukuma Soludo, who just came in. Now, who else in government as Nigeria, as far as Nigeria is concerned,
okay, so that's what I said, I'm talking in general. This is now boiling back to our government. This is not in the defense of our I'm talking in general now. Right. It could have been the duties of the citizens. Let's leave government. Me now, I can have 10 million and I can purchase one car. I'm a citizen. I'm not government. I'm not in any leadership position. I can go there, purchase and come. Instead of me to sit down, I start ordering G-Wagon out there. But Innocent is praising the G-Wagon.
I think she's derailing totally from the point. If the capacity an individual has to purchase a car and the capacity the government has to purchase a car is different. If the government, excuse me.
Okay, now why would government buy from a local manufacturer?
Yes, exactly. You see, the problem is that the government do not even believe in the product from the locals.
Okay, sir, a quick one. What should be done when the government does not believe in the products from the local? What should the government do about that to improve that product? Honorable.
Beautiful.
We are out of the argument right now.
It's still argument.
All right.
Allow me to use the point.
Beautiful. For example, Anambra State government. Do you know how many people have been influenced to also purchase this car because the state government has made it their official government car? This is already publicity for them. So if the federal government and the different state governments are already importing cars, we have the notion that our own cars are not good. So the government sets the example, we follow.
Okay, we're still going to talk about that. Let's take a look at this one. Away from the innocent vehicles of Nigeria, whatever now. Let's take a look at this. The private sector also a driving force for employment in Nigeria. Yeah. Now currently we have an airport in Akwa Ibom State, of which there is a state-owned airline, Ibom Air. Now, since the introduction of the entrance of Ibom Air, every other airline have been deprived of this opportunity, transacting any business in Ibom Airport. Now, by the government, because we have Ibom Air. Now, no other airline is allowed to fly from the airport. It's only Ibom Air that's operating. So now, are the government actually working in line with the directive, or are they in support? Are they boosting the economy? Are they helping out the unemployed people, or are they just trying to bring in sentiment into this side?
Okay, so I go back to that. I'm not seeing it as a sentiment. This is the government promoting what they do, and this is the government promoting what they have. Ibom A, at first we had only first three, before they now added 2 more air buses. So Ibom A as a government, let me just say, body-owned facility is supposed to grow.
What do you think they're supposed to have an airport? It's like Ibom airport just for Ibom Air, and also allow other investors to come in. Now, will Ibom Air have the capacity to employ people, aero contractor, ADC, IRS, which other one, and every other sector would have airline operators would have employed? Will they have the capacity to employ such?
I think one thing we're missing out here is that Ibom Air is one of the best airlines in Nigeria right now.
Okay.
Where people, if you book your flight is by 6 and you go 6:10, you don't find the airplane there anymore because it is working.
Okay.
Now, what the government is trying to do is the government is trying to show that they know what they are doing. Despite the fact that other airlines have been asked to vacate the airport, they can handle it, and they can employ people to handle the job.
Don't you think that a lot of people might feel that this monopoly on this? That's okay. Now, since you people own Ibom Air, now every other person from Akwa Ibom working in other airlines should go back.
No, sir, can I speak?
That can speak already.
Yes, absolutely. Sir, you see, it's very bad. So, for example, now, a few years ago, we had just Radio Nigeria and Akwa Ibom State FM. Those were the only two radio stations working in Akwa Ibom. So, but later on, we now began having Planet FM, Inspiration FM, private radio stations. More people now have been employed in these private radio stations, getting room for more employment. So, when the government takes monopoly of production, it doesn't allow private sector to thrive, and more people will be deprived of employment. And these are the things I'm saying, that the government must create an enabling
Okay, don't you also think that as a result of this, based on the arguments, that the government are trying to work on standard?
Sir, we already know the government and the private sector. A man from the private sector, for example, someone like Tony Lumelu, he doesn't joke with his business. Many other people don't joke with their business. If a private man does, government who has lavishly spent lots of money, don't joke with, how much more the private sector?
Okay,
and
now
this will increase competition.
Okay, so for this privatization now, it is not me in government. Okay, for the instance I cited earlier, I am not a body in government whatsoever. I just come out, I'm a private body. Let's just draw attention to the radio station you mentioned, and I'll say, okay, this is my radio station. I have to take it to the federal government to give me approval and all that, and I come back. It is not government that is setting that up. It is an individual creative mind that he feels, if you think about this thing, brings it out, exhibits, is going to bring employment first to the people in the society. So you will not just sit down.
Between government and private sector, who should employ them more?
No, sir, I'm not this one. I'm not arguing with the private sector.
Who should employ them more?
It is the government that should employ.
Now, are the government employing?
So the government are not limiting the private bodies from coming in to collaborate and do
Yeah, the government.
Yes, the government are employing.
But we just had a directive from the National Directorate of Employment that they are no longer employed.
Employable.
Okay, apart from one house,
Possible.
apart from the police who advertises recruitment every 2 years, which other sector from the government employs?
Sir,
The road safety.
we have
Road
to
safety
we are
employees.
talking about our security first.
Security first.
If you don't have security in this nation, sir, what are we advocating for? That is the highest.
All right. It's been a very wonderful time having this brainstorming area or sector or section or session with you, of which I really appreciate. Your points are very great, and the side of the youths and the side of the government as well. Now the message is sent. It's now left for the people to be the judge on this particular case and issue. Where are we heading as a people? We've heard these emerging leaders brought out the argument, and it's quite interesting that all hands must be on deck.
Absolutely.
And these other ones say the government should create an enabling environment so that people can thrive, businesses and other things as well. We're looking towards having a private sector who is not really into oil and gas. Maybe it could be not even health. It could be any other thing employ in terms of production, and a Nigerian can make a life from this. Well, because most of these shabby deals could be as a result of poor payment, salary structure, working as elephants and eating like ants at the end of the day. So we're looking towards having a country where people will boast of what they do, not just to work hanky-panky, go in different areas just to make ends meet, so that we can see. I can't have a manager earn 50,000 naira in a private sector that makes 2 million naira turnover as profit every month. What happens to that manager? He will always look for ways on how to meet up, because definitely people see him as a manager working in such a place will always expect a lot from him. So let's think about it. That's just food for thought. Thank you very much, housemates, for today. I want to believe people are not having any issue based on that as well. So it's just an argument of which we expect the viewers to do the justice to this. Don't forget, the voting lines are still on, and you have to do justice to that. Already, we were 11. How many left now?
8.
And unfortunately, 1 will go this weekend. I don't know who. Just watch out. Do your job as well. Vote your favorite housemate to continue till the end of the show. Thank you very much for joining us today. Let's make Nigeria employable. Have a lovely day.